On this day in history, we remember the remarkable individuals who shaped our world. Welcome to Who Died Today in History, where we honor their legacies. From artists to leaders, their impact lives on. If you find their stories meaningful, like, subscribe, and hit the bell to stay connected. Jerry West, often called the logo of the NBA, passed away under natural circumstances, reflecting a life deeply intertwined with basketball's evolution and American sports culture. His death marked the end of an era defined by determination, excellence, and a relentless pursuit of greatness, values emblematic of his generation of athletes. West's passing was quiet compared to the dramatic ends of some historical figures, yet it resonated profoundly within the sporting world. Known for his extraordinary skill as a player and shrewd acumen as a general manager and executive, West's death illuminated the enduring impact one individual can have on a cultural institution. His career spanned multiple roles, each influencing the NBA's growth during times of both turbulence and transformation. The natural course of his death symbolized the passing of a foundational figure whose life embodied the spirit of American perseverance and innovation. His death's immediate consequence was a collective moment of reflection across the sports community and fans worldwide. Tributes poured in, celebrating not only his on-court achievements, but his mentorship and visionary leadership. The loss amplified his legend, transforming him from a living icon into a symbol of basketball's golden heritage. The trajectory of the sport, continually shaped by figures inspired by West, was momentarily paused to honor the profound legacy he left behind. West's death also underscores humanity's complex relationship with mortality and memory. Unlike violent or abrupt ends that sometimes enshrine a figure in martyrdom or tragedy, West's natural passing invites a quieter but no less powerful form of remembrance. It reveals how society immortalizes heroes, not just through dramatic narratives, but through sustained reverence and institutional memory, naming arenas, dedicating awards, and inspiring generations through stories and images. In art, literature, and popular culture, West's silhouette remains a powerful emblem of excellence and resilience. Ultimately, Jerry West's death reflects how power and memory intertwine in human culture. It shows that mortality, though inevitable, need not diminish one's influence. Instead, the manner in which a life is remembered, through collective celebration and homage, can elevate a figure to timeless stature, inspiring countless others to follow in their footsteps. His legacy, sealed in both history and hearts, exemplifies how humanity grapples with death by choosing to immortalize greatness in enduring ways. Silvio Berlusconi's death came after a prolonged illness, marking the end of a controversial and transformative chapter in modern Italian politics. His passing was natural, but came amid a nation deeply divided over his legacy, a reflection of the turbulent and polarized era he both shaped and embodied. Berlusconi's life and death reveal the complexities of power in contemporary democracies, where charisma, media influence, and legal battles intertwine. Berlusconi's death closed the book on a career marked by extraordinary resilience and controversy. As a media tycoon turned politician, he dominated Italian public life for over 2 decades, serving multiple terms as prime minister. His death symbolized the fading of an era defined by populism, media manipulation, and the intertwining of business interests with political power. This era challenged traditional political norms, exposing vulnerabilities in Italy's democratic institutions and sparking intense public debate about governance, ethics, and media freedom. The immediate consequences of Berlusconi's death were a surge of reflection and division. Supporters mourned a larger-than-life figure who they believed revitalized Italy and stood up to the establishment, while critics saw his passing as the end of a chapter that hindered progress and transparency. His death reignited conversations about his legal troubles, political scandals, and the lasting impact of his policies on Italy's economy and society. Berlusconi's death amplified his legend, but unlike the romanticized endings of historical figures from distant eras, his story remains raw and unresolved in public memory. His life and death illustrate how modern leaders are immortalized not just through monuments or literature, but through ongoing media narratives and political discourse. The polarization surrounding his legacy reveals humanity's complex relationship with mortality, power, and collective memory, how we struggle to reconcile greatness with controversy. Ultimately, Berlusconi's passing invites us to consider how contemporary society immortalizes influential figures. Unlike traditional heroes commemorated in statues or poems, figures like Berlusconi live on through the debates they spark, the media they control, and the societal changes they provoke. His death is a reminder that memory is not only about reverence, but also about reckoning, an ongoing negotiation of history's many shades. Gregory Peck's death was from natural causes, closing the life of one of Hollywood's most iconic and principled actors. His passing in 2003 reflected not only the inevitable mortality that all humans face, but also the end of an era when classical Hollywood ideals, courage, integrity, and moral clarity were embodied on screen and off. Peck's life and death resonate with the values and challenges of the mid-20th century, a time when cinema was a powerful force shaping public conscience during war, social change, and the Cold War. Peck's death marked the conclusion of a career that spanned 5 decades and included unforgettable roles that became cultural touchstones. His portrayal of Atticus Finch in To Kill a Mockingbird, 1962, for example, stood as a beacon of justice during the civil rights era, emphasizing the importance of empathy and standing against racial prejudice. His calm dignity and authoritative presence reflected the era's yearning for heroes who fought for truth and fairness in a complex world. The immediate consequence of Peck's passing was a wave of heartfelt tributes celebrating not just his cinematic achievements, but also his off-screen humanitarian efforts. He was remembered as an artist who used his fame responsibly, advocating for human rights and global peace. His death amplified his legend by reminding the public of how film can inspire societal reflection and change. Peck's death also highlights humanity's profound relationship with mortality, power, and memory. Unlike violent or untimely deaths that sometimes overshadow a person's achievements, Peck's natural passing allowed for a contemplative appreciation of a full and impactful life. It reflects how society immortalizes figures through their lasting contributions to culture and ethics, captured in art, literature, and collective memory. His characters and humanitarian legacy continue to inspire new generations, kept alive through awards, retrospectives, and the enduring relevance of his films. Ultimately, Gregory Peck's death reminds us that while mortality is universal, the way we harness our influence shapes how we are remembered. Through storytelling and remembrance, we elevate figures like Peck beyond their earthly existence, weaving their legacies into the fabric of human history and moral consciousness.
I put a lot of effort into researching and creating these stories every day. If you enjoy this content, please consider subscribing, liking, and leaving a comment. Your support means a lot. Also, I recently opened channel memberships for those who want to support even more closely. Thank you for being here.
Treat Williams, the beloved American actor known for his versatility and charismatic screen presence, passed away from natural causes following a tragic accident that led to complications. His death reflected the fragility of life, even for those who seem larger than life on screen, reminding us of the universal vulnerability that transcends fame and success. Williams' passing marked the end of a career that spanned more than 4 decades. during which he captured the spirit of evolving American culture through diverse roles in film, television, and theater. Williams' death came after a severe accident that highlighted the unpredictable nature of life, echoing a broader human experience where sudden misfortune can alter the course of existence. His struggle and eventual passing underscored the challenges many face behind the scenes, regardless of public stature. It was a poignant reminder of how mortality intersects with everyday realities, even for those who often portray heroic or resilient characters. The immediate aftermath of Williams's death saw an outpouring of grief and appreciation from fans, colleagues, and critics who recognized his impact on the entertainment world. Known for his performances in films like Hair and Prince of the City, as well as numerous television roles, Williams was celebrated not only for his talent, but for his approachable, genuine nature. His death amplified his legend by reminding audiences of the warmth and humanity he brought to his craft, leaving a legacy that continues to influence actors and storytellers. Williams' passing also invites reflection on humanity's relationship with mortality, power, and memory. His life and death illustrate how we memorialize individuals not solely through grand monuments, but through the stories and characters they leave behind. In art and literature, his roles endure as snapshots of American life across decades, preserving his essence for future generations. Commemorations through awards, retrospectives, and tributes ensure that his contributions remain alive in cultural memory. Ultimately, Treat Williams's death reveals the delicate balance between fame and mortality. It shows that while death is an inevitable endpoint, the way one's life is remembered through art, shared memories, and cultural impact transforms personal loss into collective legacy. His journey reminds us that humanity immortalizes its heroes not only in grand narratives, but in the enduring resonance of their stories. Norma Shearer, the celebrated Canadian-American actress and a defining figure of Hollywood's golden age, died of natural causes in 1983. Her death symbolized the closing of a chapter that had profoundly influenced cinema during an era when film became a powerful medium for exploring changing social values, especially around gender and morality. Shearer's passing reflected both the personal fragility behind the glamorous facade and the cultural shifts her work helped illuminate. Shearer's career flourished during the 1920s and 1930s, a period marked by the transition from silent films to talkies, and a time when Hollywood grappled with portraying evolving attitudes toward women's independence and sexuality. Known as the First Lady of MGM, Shearer often portrayed strong, complex women who defied societal expectations, such as in The Divorcee, 1930, which candidly addressed divorce and female agency. Her death, decades later, came at a time when the studio system that had made her a star had long since faded, symbolizing the end of an era defined by classic glamour and carefully crafted personas. The immediate consequences of Shearer's death were marked by reflection on her role as a trailblazer for women in film. Tributes celebrated her not only for her artistic achievements — she won an Academy Award for Best Actress — but also for her subtle challenges to traditional gender roles on screen. While she did not die amid political intrigue or violent spectacle, her legacy carried a quieter but no less significant form of cultural power, amplified through the lasting influence of her films on subsequent generations. Her death highlights humanity's ongoing relationship with mortality, power, and memory, especially in the arts. Unlike abrupt or violent ends that often create dramatic mythologies, Shearer's natural passing invites contemplation of a full life lived under the public eye, where memory is preserved through the immortal medium of film. We immortalize figures like Shearer not only through biographies and retrospectives, but through the very art they created, which continues to inspire and reflect the social dynamics of their time. Ultimately, Norma Shearer's death, reveals how society remembers those who helped shape cultural narratives. Through film and commemoration, her legacy endures, reminding us that art can preserve the spirit and challenges of an era long after its stars have faded from view. Philip Baker Hall, the distinguished American character actor, passed away from natural causes in 2022, concluding a career marked by subtle yet powerful performances that often reflected the nuances of human complexity. His death came quietly, away from public spectacle, embodying the dignity of a craftsman who contributed richly to modern cinema and television. Hall's passing reflects the era's appreciation for understated talent and the evolving nature of storytelling that values depth over grandeur. Hall's career spanned over 5 decades, during which he portrayed a range of characters that often embodied the moral ambiguities and social challenges of contemporary America. Known for roles in films like Magnolia and television series such as Seinfeld and The West Wing, Hall brought gravitas to every part, portraying figures grappling with personal and societal conflicts. His death, in a period marked by global upheavals and cultural shifts, mirrored the quiet resilience required in an age often dominated by spectacle and sensationalism. The immediate consequences of Hall's death were felt deeply among peers and fans who recognized his unique ability to give voice to the ordinary yet profound human experience. While not a household name to all, his passing amplified the respect for character actors who form the backbone of storytelling. It sparked renewed interest in his work and a recognition of the craft behind the faces often seen but seldom spotlighted. Hall's death offers insight into humanity's complex relationship with mortality, power, and memory. Unlike the dramatic or violent ends of some iconic figures, Hall's natural passing emphasizes the everyday reality of death, reminding us that the legacies we leave are built quietly through dedication and artistry. Society immortalizes such figures not only through awards or retrospectives, but also through the lasting impression they leave on audiences' hearts and minds, preserved in film and television archives. Ultimately, Philip Baker Hall's death underscores how cultural memory cherishes those who embody the subtleties of life's struggles and triumphs. Through art and commemoration, we keep alive the legacy of actors like Hall, whose work enriches our understanding of humanity and ensures that their contributions resonate far beyond their time. Sylvia Miles, the vivacious and iconic American actress, passed away from natural causes, closing a chapter on a life that embodied the dynamic spirit of New York's theater and film scene from the 1960s onward. Her death marked not just the loss of a gifted performer, but also a reflection of an era defined by artistic daring, cultural upheaval, and the redefining of social norms. Miles's life and passing reveal how mortality intersects with the enduring influence of those who shape cultural movements from the margins. Miles died quietly after decades of captivating audiences with her unique blend of charisma, wit, and intensity. Best known for her roles in films like Midnight Cowboy and Farewell, My Lovely, her career blossomed during a period of radical transformation in American cinema, when traditional Hollywood gave way to more experimental and socially conscious storytelling. Her death from natural causes, far removed from the drama of the roles she portrayed, symbolizes the inevitable passage of time and the closing of a vibrant cultural epoch. The immediate aftermath of her death saw heartfelt tributes highlighting her distinctive contributions to both stage and screen. Though never a household name on the scale of some contemporaries, Miles was revered for her fearless approach to complex characters and her status as a muse within avant-garde circles. Her passing amplified her legend as a symbol of artistic authenticity and fearless self-expression, reminding audiences of the transformative power of character actors in shaping the emotional landscape of film and theater. Miles's death invites reflection on humanity's relationship with mortality, power, and memory. Unlike the sensational or violent ends that often cement historical figures in public consciousness, Her natural passing encourages a quieter remembrance, rooted in admiration for a lifetime of artistic dedication. We immortalize figures like Miles through the continued study and celebration of their work. Film retrospectives, theatrical revivals, and critical essays keep her spirit alive, highlighting how art captures the fleeting nature of human experience. Ultimately, Sylvia Miles' death reveals how cultural memory embraces those who, through authenticity and courage, challenge and enrich our understanding of life's complexities. Her legacy endures as a testament to the power of art to immortalize humanity's diverse voices, preserving them long after the final curtain has fallen. Medgar Evers, a pivotal figure in the American Civil Rights Movement, met a violent and tragic death on June 12, 1963, when he was assassinated outside his home in Jackson, Mississippi. His murder was not only a personal loss, but a stark symbol of the intense resistance to racial equality during the era. Evers' death embodied the brutal challenges faced by activists who fought against deeply entrenched systemic racism and segregation in the American South. Evers was shot by Byron Della Beckwith, a member of the White Citizens Council, an organization vehemently opposed to integration. The assassination occurred amid the mounting tension and violent backlash against the civil rights movement, highlighting the dangerous climate in which activists operated. Evers' work as the NAACP's Mississippi Field Secretary, organizing voter registration drives and challenging segregation laws, made him a marked man in a society struggling with its own moral contradictions and resistance to change. The immediate consequences of Evers' death were profound. His assassination shocked the nation and galvanized support for the civil rights movement, drawing increased media attention to the violence faced by African Americans in the South. Although justice was delayed, Beckwith was acquitted twice in earlier trials amid all-white juries. Eventual convictions decades later underscored the evolving American commitment to confronting racial injustice. Evers' death amplified his legacy as a martyr whose sacrifice intensified the urgency of the civil rights cause, helping to accelerate landmark legislation such as the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Medgar Evers' death reveals humanity's fraught relationship with mortality, power, and memory. It starkly illustrates how power structures resist change, sometimes through lethal violence, and how the death of a courageous individual can transform collective memory and inspire social progress. His legacy is immortalized through numerous memorials, biographies, and educational programs that ensure his contributions and sacrifices remain vivid. Literature, film, and public commemoration honor his courage, keeping alive the story of a man whose life and death continue to challenge injustice. Ultimately, Evers' assassination shows how mortality can become a catalyst for historical transformation. His story is a testament to the power of memory and commemoration in shaping how societies reckon with their darkest chapters and aspire toward justice.